Ignition sequence starts. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0. Liftoff. We have a liftoff.
Hey everybody, this is the Digital Asset Investor, and I'm about to show you about 4 or 5 awesome clips that I pulled from Link2's Global Investor Conference yesterday. There were a lot of, they had Greg Kidd, JP Tirrett from Uphold, and Greg Kidd's Global ID and was one of the first 10 guys at Ripple. Then they had John Deaton on there as well. I got some great John Deaton clips. But so they're all from that conference. So I want to make sure I mention that Link2, linqto.com. They're one of my sponsors. They've been adding Ripple equity onto the platform. They still have some there. They have fully subscribed on Link2, Uphold, Kraken. No more of those left. All that's left is Ripple, and that's just because they had put a lot of it up there. So if you have been thinking about it, and by the way, they're running a deal until the 31st, where if you buy through your Uphold linked account, if you buy Ripple equity or other equity with your digital assets, then they will kick somewhere between, I think if you're buying Ripple equity, they will kick $1,500 worth of XRP into your XRP wallet on Uphold. But if you're buying other digital assets on the platform, I think they're doing $1,000 worth of XRP into the thing. So pretty cool. All right, so let's get to these clips. There's some good ones. This is Greg Kidd, and I got the opportunity in this clip to ask him how he thought the Ripple lawsuit would end, and he had a really interesting answer.
I mean, then this thought that something that might have been a security at one time is no longer a security now, and that's kind of a divide the baby kind of thing. But even if the SEC did that, they'd still have to come up with some sort of definition of like why it was a security then and it's not now. Unfortunately, the SEC has taken a position that it's really problematic, because for them to win without actually having clarity, and clarity is the one thing they don't seem to want, it's like let's just tell the SEC that, okay, you win, you get whatever you want. What do you want to say to the world about this situation? Do you want to just say we won and we're not going to create any clarity? Do you really want that to be your MO going forward? Because once you give clarity, people are going to find out which side of the thing they're on. I personally think that their desire is just to maintain lack of clarity for as long as possible. I don't think they want it to settle. And the odd thing is, this is a terrible thing to say, but I'm in the XRP community, and by golly, it was great when everybody else gave up on XRP and Uphold kept selling it. We kind of, and we get a lot of publicity. It's that old, all news is good news. And so while I know right now that, the Ripple price and XRP price aren't maybe as competitive with other things, but I can sure as hell tell you, everybody in the community knows about this issue, and it keeps it, keeps it out there. So I would rather have, I'm concerned with what the SEC will do if they're forced into a corner. They are embarrassed by the fact that they have to either say, well, we knew it was a security and we just didn't tell anyone, versus we didn't know, and if you didn't know, then how would we know? Both of those are extremely unpleasant, outcomes.
Okay, that's part one of it. Here's part two.
I feel like I'm a child with my parents, and we're squabbling in the backseat of the car, and they don't really want to resolve the issue. We just know we're both going to get a spanking. But I don't understand how the SEC plays this one for a winning position, even if they get to pummel Ripple. It just makes them look bad any which way. So I really don't know how to handicap this one, guys. I have no idea.
Well, they say, I was always told that if they say it's not about the money, it's about the money.
Well, yeah. I had that when I was getting sued by Craigslist. They said, it's not about the money, but we want $30 million. I'm like, wow, I'm really glad it's not about the money, or else it would have been a big number. You know? Right. Yeah, whenever somebody tells you it's not about the money, you better look for your wallet.
Thank you.
But like Ripple is unlikely to cave the way that Kik did, the way that Telegram did. Those were basically, payoff type solutions. And like they've done the same thing to Tether, other regulatory. They don't kill Tether, they just shake them down. It's a total Tony Soprano approach. If you really thought something was bad, why would you give them like one of these little, peanut fouls, right? Take them out, right? But when regulators are just like doing these fines that are just like annoying, it's just really an expression of power. And I mean, it's like a grifter. It's like textbook Tony Soprano. And so, but I don't think they're going to get away with that in Ripple. That's not going to like fly this time around.
Okay, great clip. And thanks to Greg Kidd. Now here's a John Deaton great clip as well.
In their motion against the paperwork that I filed, they actually said that the XRP traded, including in the secondary market, is a representation of the investment contract with Ripple. So just imagine that, all right? I want everyone to imagine that Ripple, the SEC allowed Ripple to buy a 9% stake in MoneyGram, knowing that MoneyGram was going to accept XRP from Ripple. They know MoneyGram's not a hodler because they're going to need the cash. Ripple gives them the XRP. MoneyGram then sells the XRP on an exchange to a retail holder such as myself. And then 2 years later, the SEC says that XRP that Deaton or whoever bought off Coinbase that came from MoneyGram, which came from Ripple, that we allowed in the first place, well, it's all retroactively a security. And so that's sort of the level of absurdity that I find myself involved in this litigation.
I mean, it's so true. And Greg Kidd was right, too. There's not really any good way out of this for the SEC, and it's their own fault. Here's another this is an exchange with John Deaton and Greg Kidd. Awesome.
And he literally said that all these exchanges and these platforms need to come and register at the SEC. If that's not a declaration of someone who's trying to take all the turf, I don't know what is. So I agree with what Greg said.
I will say that what he's asking is the same thing that the Saudi embassy asked of Jamal Khashoggi. Just come on in and pick up your marriage license. We all know how that went. And I was at Ripple when we went in for Treasury to have that conversation, and the investigation and the FinCEN file probably started, within 5 minutes of me leaving the building. And so, look, I'm always willing to go in and talk to the regulators. I'm an ex-regulator myself. I'm from the Fed, but there's this saying that we told to the management team of Countrywide during the meltdown, and it says, look, the regulators may be friendly, but they are not your friends. And so if you're going in for one of those chats, Tony Soprano can be very, very charming, but you cannot be deceived by the fact that it is Tony Soprano that you're going in to see. This isn't like going to see The Wizard of Oz. It's Tony Soprano, right? And so do not forget that. So Mr. Khashoggi, we know how that turned out for you. And I'm sorry, but we're just the unfortunate collateral damage in this process.
Well, I'm pretty sure if Satoshi Nakamoto were identified today, tomorrow he'd get a subpoena from the SEC.
I'm sure he would.
I'm sure he would too. Here's another good one.
I'm sitting here listening to you guys, and you really did the job for me because I wrote a quote. I think it was from Joe. People use their XRP to buy Ripple stock. They're using XRP to actually buy a security. And then Greg mentioned, well, we offer the XRP card. And so I think it's fascinating that you have, I think it sums it up, right? You're taking XRP, which is a substitute for currency, and you're actually buying a actual security, which is the Ripple stock. And I want you to know that Link to is in the paperwork that I submitted to the court. I use that example as one of the ways to demonstrate that XRP is not a security. And really what I've been trying to focus on, to be honest with you, Bill, Joe, is something that I'm amazed that I even have to address. The digital asset itself, or the underlying instrument in question, is never the security. A security, when you're talking about an investment contract, is how you offer it, how you market it, how you package it when you sell it. You know, the oranges in the Howie case were not the securities. The orange groves were not the securities. Even the signed contracts themselves were not the securities. It was the scheme, the packaging, and the marketing. And it's amazing that the SEC has taken this position that all XRP, and I'm going to quote them, in their motion against the paperwork that I filed, they actually said that the XRP traded, including in the secondary market, is a representation of the investment contract with Ripple.
Absurd, folks. And then Brad Combs from Digital Perspectives was also in there, and he had put a good clip out too. Listen to this.
Judge Netburn stated that the Bitcoin, Ether, and XRP documents were relevant to both the Howie analysis as well as the fair notice defense. So if she orders that those documents have to be produced, and she pierces the privilege issue and orders it to be produced to Ripple. Remember, one of those documents is a June 13th, 2018 assessment of XRP. And you can rest assured that if that assessment stated XRP is definitely a security, they'd have turned it over voluntarily to Ripple, right? So it probably says it's inconclusive. It doesn't meet, this factor or that factor, and they don't want to turn it over.
You hear what he just said?
Greg was talking about an event. We could use what recently happened with the ledger to show that there was an issue with the XRP ledger and independent developers fixed it, not Ripple. And therefore, a declaration that ongoing sales and future sales of XRP are not a security. I think that's when it's right. If the judge strikes fair notice, then the SEC is in a big driving seat at that point. If the judge says that privilege is protected and none of these documents, the SEC is in a much more driver's seat position. So a lot depends on those rulings, and we may get those rulings before the end of the year. So if both of those rulings go in Ripple's favor, I would think that the settlement is ripe within the next 90 days from that decision. If they go against Ripple, I'm afraid we're looking at a potential trial. That
settlement next 90 days sounds good.
Handicap.
Well, and no greater.
All right. Okay. Today, folks, Chris Giancarlo is reminding us today. Brian Brooks had sent this out. Today's here, I'll fast forward here a little bit to it. It's the Financial Services Committee at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern Time today. Digital Assets and the Future of Finance, Understanding the Challenges and Benefits of Financial Innovation in the United States. Bank XRP, who's a definite follow, by the way. Give him a follow at Bank XRP. Old school guy in XRP land. He put a link to the witnesses that are going to be there. And if you click on that link, you'll get this. And you can actually click on a PDF of their written testimony if you want to read that. Now, I want to go back and show you this. Michael at VAL5 Links, who's also old school, give him a follow. This guy works hard at VAL5LINX. XRP could pull off giant 420% rally, according to crypto analyst Michael Van de Poppe. Here's how. Now, I looked at this Michael Van de Poppe's account. He's got over 500,000 followers, and he's a Bitcoin guy, which that's why when I pay attention to stuff like this, when the Bitcoin maxis are talking about something they see on an XRP chart, I usually pay attention because they don't like XRP, most of them. He told his subscribers that he's watching the price area roughly between 81 and 97 cents. If these are going to hold, we're most likely going to have a scenario like this in which to rally to $2, in which we start to break out. These are the triggers here, 90, $1, $1.20. Then we get a vertical move. From there, he says, indicate XRP's next target points 287, 433. Should XRP follow his script, the altcoin can potentially rise over 420%. Well, I don't know about charts, and I'm assuming he knows what he's talking about. He's got a lot of followers, but I can tell you this. Here's what my charts say. My charts say when this case is over and XRP gets some clarity, it's going to blow everything I just read to you out of the water. We're not talking about 287 to 433. We're talking about the great unknown at that point in a good way. I'm the digital asset investor. I'm not an investment advisor. This is for entertainment purposes only. Please subscribe, hit the like button, and tell your friends and family that you get a settlement. Like John Deaton said, if it could happen within 90 days, it is on like Donkey Kong.